Hi, and thanks so much for joining. It's Patty from pspapercrafts, and I appreciate you coming here and watching me demonstrate how to make a card using Stampin' Up products. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator, so that's what I do. Each month I work with 11 other demonstrators to create a tutorial bundle, and we feature a suite of products. So this month, September, we're featuring the Rustic Harvest suite of products. And these are just some of the samples. There's 9 here, but there's actually 12 in the bundle. And I send this to anyone who places an order on my online store for free, or you can go to my blog and purchase it at pspapercrafts.com. And I'll have links below the video as well. So this is what the bundle looks like. I didn't print the whole thing out because it's a lot of color, but if you were to purchase from me and get it for free or download it, you could keep it online and print out the ones you want. But this is a sample, and the bundle has the colors we're using, the suite collection, and then our designers. So these are the 12 ladies that I work with. They're wonderful, very creative. This is me, Patty Dolan, and my website is www.pspapercrafts.com. And then this is the project that I'm making. So each project out of the 12 projects, you'll have a picture, you'll have measurements, and then you'll have instructions. And then you can use this for this suite of products, or you can try to do something else with another suite of products. You don't have to use the supplies we used, but this is just an example of what you can do. And if you have this suite and you want to know something, something to make with it, you have some good ideas here. So let's get started. This is the card I'm using, and I think it's so pretty. I'm using the embossing folder. It's called the Leaf Fall, and then I'm using the pumpkin die that comes in this bundle, the Hello Harvest bundle, and I'm using copper foil to cut it out, and it actually embosses and cuts in one pass. So it's really pretty. This is the stamp set. And I'm using the hello from here. And then on the inside, I use these leaves. And I'll have to say that I think the favorite stamp in here for me is the leaves. I've made a few cards with them with different colors, and it just stamps beautifully. And then the dies are really great. And these do work with your mini. I'm going to use my big machine today because I am embossing with a big folder. But I'm using these dies, and you'll see that they cut and emboss. So let's get started. Oh, and let me just tell you, so the paper, this is called the Rustic Harvest paper. It's part of the suite. And all I did was use a little strip here of this green. But they have some really beautiful, this is the other side, really beautiful prints. You know me, I love the designer series paper, so I just wanted to take you through it. And it's black and white on one side, which I love, and then the fall theme on the other side. So just real quick, you've probably seen this before. Love this one. I haven't used it yet. And I love a black and white design too. So these are the papers. And this is great. You can color it, with blends or markers. So let's get started. The first thing, just put this aside. The first thing I want to do is get out my stamp and cut and emboss machine. Stampin' Up, cut and emboss machine. I just can never remember how to say that whole thing. It's a mouthful. And let's put this aside. And we're going to emboss the layer. I'm using Mossy Meadow, and I want to emboss this, this layer with the leaves. So we'll use the Leaf Fall Embossing Folder. And this is one of my new favorites. And we'll just put our paper. I don't want to have too much white on top or blank. I don't know if you could see this. So I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom and over to the edge. I want to get as many of these leaves as I can in here. You don't want to go too far over because you don't want that gap. So you really have to kind of line it up and make sure that you're getting some form of embossing there. Okay, and then I want to get my base plate, and then the just the base plate, and then the number 4 plate. So when you're using a 3D embossing folder, which this is, 3D embossing folder, you want to use this gray plate, and you want to send it in with your fold in first, and then you put your plate over it, and we'll just run it through. So I moved, you know, I'm living in my son's basement. If you follow me, you know that. And I've been running up and down stairs to make my videos. And I decided to set up a little table here by the one window he has in his basement. So I'm hoping this works out okay. So here we have it. So pretty. This is just pretty on its own. And we're going to do something to this, but before I put my machine away, let's cut out the pumpkin and then the greenery and the stem. Okay, so I have a piece of copper, and let me just get my base plate. So now I want to use my base plate, the number 2 plate, and then 2 cutting plates. And I like to keep 1 cutting plate clean for the top, especially when I'm using foil, because it will pick up, if you run it through, it could pick up all the lines from this. I mean, this is kind of messy here. So we're going to put this down. Let's see if we can put this all through in one pass. So we'll put our pumpkin here. That's one part of the pumpkin. And then it's still taped down. I've got to get all of these on my magnets. And then we have a little piece of early espresso, and we're going to use that for the stem. And then I have a little piece, let's see, of Mossy Meadow. And we'll do, I don't know which greenery we'll do, so we'll do all 3. There's 3 different ones that you can use. And then these cut out, I'll show you in a second. It's really a nice set because the Wishing You the Loveliest Day, that banner has a coordinating die, and then this big pumpkin, and then this greenery. And I saw a lot of people cut out the pumpkin and put the flowers on top. I'm going to try that. So I think that's pretty cool. So we want to put this in. I like to have my underneath plate a little bit behind, and then this one over the top a little bit. I think it runs through a little bit easier when you run it through your machine. It's not so much bulk going in initially. So we'll run this whole thing through. Whoa. And I think I missed the end. I didn't have it there far enough. So what I'm going to do is recut some of this. So it's a good thing I make mistakes, right? Because then you can learn from it. So I didn't have this base plate lined up right. So let me show you how to do this. So I'm going to take this one, I want to cut again. And this one, we'll take out this pumpkin. So this is good. The stem is good. And these greenery pieces, let me just get something for them. So I'm going to use my take your pick tool and just get underneath that a little bit and pull this one up and then this one. Okay, and I'll poke out those other pieces. I just want to show you. So what happened was I had this, I didn't have the plates lined up well, showing you how to line them up really good, right? So I'm going to run this through again. And then this one, I want to run through again, but I want to get the, let me just get these pieces off. I want to get the pumpkin lined up right where it's already cut, because I don't want to, I just want to cut it again a little bit. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to kind of lock it in. You'll feel that it's locked in. Okay. And we're going to run that through again. And we'll run this one through again. So let me get my, I'm going to pull it back a little bit. I just really had everything too low. So here I am giving you tips, and it doesn't work out. So hopefully this will work out. It's only paper. So here we go. Here's the pumpkin. And we'll put that aside. And then, let's see. this greenery is on here. So I just want to get all my dies away, and we'll do this. This is really cutting into my plate because I have a lot of stuff cut in there. Okay, I think we can get rid of our machine now. So let's put this aside. And let's get our pieces together. And before I put this down, I want to do some other little thing to it. I always have to do something extra. Let me get a piece of scrap paper. Here it is. So let's just put this stuff on the scrap paper. I'm going to take my greenery and I'm going to just poke these out so they're ready when I decide which ones I'm going to use. And you could use all three. I'm only going to probably use two again. So we have that one, this one, and this one. So I'm just going to poke this little extra piece out. So we have all our pieces. Let me put this away so I don't lose it. And now what I want to do is just flick some ink right on this. So let's put that up there. I'm going to take my marker, Mossy Meadow. I think on this card I actually used a brown, and then I decided I would change to Mossy Meadow. You can't really tell because I wanted to have it all coordinated with one color. So we're going to take our brush tip and we're just going to flick it. And I hope you can see that we're just getting some little splatters of ink right on the card. And I just wanted to add a little bit of some extra, I don't know, pizzazz to it. Let's go right down there. Okay, so now we have it embossed and we have some splatter. Okay, so now let's put our pieces together. So I'm going to lay this right down with some liquid glue. So we'll just take this off and lay this down. So if you go to my blog, you can, you know, you can purchase the whole full tutorial. I'm not going to really have instructions like I normally do on my blog. But if you order from my online store, you can get it for free. And then we want to put this pumpkin together. But isn't this beautiful? So we just put the pieces together like this. So I'll just put some glue here and put it together right like that. One a little bit below and a little bit above. And then we have the stem, which I think is really cool. It gives you kind of this flat part to put your glue. Very easy to put together. And then you can just put this, and you could put it, you know, straight up, or if you wanted it at an angle. And then you can choose your greenery. So it has 3 pieces, and let's see what we want to do. I think I'll do a long one. Okay, so this one we want to just very lightly, and this might be something good to put with your adhesive sheets, because it's very, or you could actually do this with a little paintbrush, put a blob of glue on your silicone mat and just pick it up with a sponge or a paintbrush or something like that. So there you go. I hope you don't hear my dog is on the couch right next to me snoring. He really likes to hang out with me, Bailey. He's a Boston Terrier, and he's pretty hyper unless he's sleeping. And then he's out. We were just out playing in the yard. Okay, and I'm going to just leave that. I glued it. It's a little bit slippery because it's the foil paper. So I'm going to just leave it aside, and let's get our sentiment going. So I took the hello from here. You could do "You are such a blessing." you could do this, excuse me, but it's kind of curved. So I think the hello is the best for what I'm doing anyway. And I didn't put a sentiment on the inside because I don't know generally when I make a hello card who I'm giving it to, why I'm giving it to them. So I tend to just leave it blank. I could always add a sentiment at a later date if I wanted to. So I'm just going to go. This is a 3/4 strip of paper. Hello. And then let's do the inside layer while we're here. So all I did was stamp the leaves. I just kind of went back and forth with the leaf image, and I stamped it direct, and then I stamped it, and I think I started in the middle, and then I stamped it a second time to get a lighter color. So let's do right here, and then we'll go like that, and then we'll go like this, and one over here. Isn't that pretty? I just love that leaf. So let's put that aside. I think we're done stamping. And what I like to do is use the Banners Pick-a-Punch. If you follow me at all, you know that this is my favorite tool for making a banner. And let me just snip this down a little bit. Actually, let me do the one side first. So on this punch, there's a point and there's a banner. So we're going to do the banner part. I'm just going to feed it in and kind of make sure it's centered. Okay, and then I want to just cut this down. And I just eyeball this, and I'm not going to say it till I'm done. I don't want to jinx myself. But it usually works out right. That's what I was going to say, but I figured if I said it and it didn't, it wouldn't come across too well. Okay, so now we want to put these pieces down, and I think we'll do some dimensionals. I'm trying to see if I did dimensionals on the pumpkin. I did. So let's do some dimensionals, or actually before we put it down, let's put it on here with some liquid glue, and then we'll get the dimensionals going. So I like to use liquid glue when I'm doing an embossed image because it gets all in those, you know, what I call nooks and crannies, highs and lows from the embossed layer. So we'll just put this down like that. Okay, and now let's get the dimensionals. So I'll put the pumpkin down first, and I think I used both the big and the small dimensionals. You could, if you wanted to, you could just cut the edges or cut a dimensional in half if you didn't have the minis. But I think I used a mini for the up here. It might fit a big one, but there we go. And let's put this as well. We'll put some dimensionals on this. And I think this is a perfect card for this time of year. You could make this a birthday card. You don't have to use the sentiments there. You can pick whatever sentiment you want. So let's take the backings off. I love the fall. I'm going apple picking on Sunday with my kids and grandkids and my in-laws, sister-in-law, brother-in-law. And I'm excited to go. I haven't gone in years because I've been living in Florida. And that's something we always did as a family since my kids were little. We went apple picking. And the place that we go to, the farm, is really nice, but it's been discovered. When we went, hardly anybody went there. And now it's a big, you know, everybody tailgates, which is fun and cool and everything. But it's more crowded. And they just have rows and rows of apple trees with different varieties, and you can eat them and taste them. We pass the apple around to see which ones we like best, and then you take them home and you have no idea which are which, unless they're like the golden delicious or red delicious or something. The rest of them kind of look the same. But I'll tell you, they're great for homemade apple pie. I make my own applesauce, and the variety is just delicious. So here are the cards. And again, if you want this tutorial bundle, just purchase from my online store in September. Each month we do a different one. Or just go to www.pspapercrafts.com and there's a button to click for tutorials at the top and you can purchase it. All right, so thanks so much for joining me and you have a great day. Bye.